Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for July 4th. July 4th is the 185th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 186th in leap years, with 180 days remaining to the end of the year. The aphelion, the point in the year when the Earth is farthest from the Sun, occurs around this date. Today's word is Hippocrene. Hippocrene is a noun that means a poetic or literary inspiration. This word comes to us from adaptation of an idea from Greek mythology. Hippocrene was a spring on Mount Helicon said to be created by a stroke of Pegasus' foot. Hippo means horse, of course, and crene means fountain or stream. These words come to us from the Greek language and from Indo-European root words before that. Earliest documented use of the word Hippocrene is 1598. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Be sure and stay to the end for outtakes and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Remember that you can share this video with others with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. And with that, we're going to start on July 4th, 1054 with a supernova that was observed and noted by several observers and civilizations. It was bright enough to be seen during the day and evident for several months. This supernova is called SN1054 and is now part of the Crab Nebula. The United States Military Academy opened at West Point, New York on July 4th, 1802. The Louisiana Purchase was announced to the U.S. people on July 4th, 1803. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, respectively the second and third presidents of the United States, died on the same day, July 4th, 1826, on the 50th anniversary of the adoption of the United States Declaration of Independence. Unaware that Jefferson had died earlier in the day, Adams' last words were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." I guess he found out when he got to the other side. This is the birthday of American songwriter and composer Stephen Foster, born July 4th, 1826. He wrote such songs as "Oh Susanna," "Camptown Races," "Jeannie with the Light Brown Hair," and more. Stephen Foster lived to the age of 37. Slavery was abolished in the state of New York on July 4th, 1827. Samuel Francis Smith wrote "My Country 'Tis of Thee" for the Boston, Massachusetts July 4th festivities in 1831. The first long-distance railway, known as the Grand Junction Railway, opened between Birmingham and Liverpool, England on July 4th, 1837. The Iowa Territory was organized on July 4th, 1838. On July 4th, 1845, Henry David Thoreau moved into a small cabin on Walden Pond in Concord, Massachusetts. The creative result of his time there, Walden, has become a touchstone of the environmental movement. The first edition of Walt Whitman's book of poems, Leaves of Grass, was published in Brooklyn, New York on July 4th, 1855. On July 4th, 1862, Lewis Carroll told a little girl named Alice Liddell a story that would grow into Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and its sequels. This is the birthday of American lawyer and politician and 30th President of the United States, Calvin Coolidge, born July 4th, 1872. He lived to the age of 60. The Tuskegee Institute opened in Alabama on July 4th, 1881. This is the birthday of American sculptor, cartoonist, and engineer Rube Goldberg, born July 4th, 1883. He's best known for his popular cartoons that showed complicated gadgets performing simple tasks in indirect and convoluted ways. These cartoons led to the expression Rube Goldberg machines, which has then led to the actual creation of such machines. They're very entertaining to watch, Rube Goldberg machines. I've included a link to a page with a collection of Rube Goldberg machine videos. Rube Goldberg lived to the age of 87. Western Samoa changed the international dateline, causing Monday, July 4th, 1892 to occur twice, resulting in a year with 367 days. That sounds a little bit like one of those bizarre math word problems to me. William Howard Taft became the American governor of the Philippines on July 4th, 1901. He became President of the United States a few years after that position ended. A massive heat wave took place in northeastern United States beginning on July 4th, 1911. Temperature records in several cities were broken and hundreds of people died. This is the birthday of American playwright and screenwriter Neil Simon, born July 4th, 1927. He wrote dozens, if not hundreds, of scripts over the course of his career. The one that always pops to mind for me is The Odd Couple. He lived to the age of 91. On July 4th, 1934, a man named Leo Szilard patented the chain reaction design that would later be used in the atomic bomb. Interestingly, that patent for the chain reaction design was issued on the same day that Marie Curie died. She was fascinated by the idea of X-rays, which William Röntgen had discovered in 1895. She studied and discovered radioactive elements. She developed aplastic anemia due to long-term exposure to radiation and died on July 4th, 1934. All her papers, notes, and even her home cookbook are radioactive and considered too dangerous to handle. They're kept in lead-lined boxes now. Marie Curie was 66 when she passed away. This is the birthday of American singer, songwriter, and producer Bill Withers, born July 4th, 1938. He wrote a number of popular and award-winning songs, including Ain't No Sunshine, Just the Two of Us, and Lean on Me, to name a few. Bill Withers lived to the age of 81. On July 4th, 1939, Lou Gehrig announced to a crowd in Yankee Stadium that he considered himself the luckiest man on the face of the earth, and also announced his retirement from Major League Baseball. He had recently been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which has since come to be known as Lou Gehrig's disease. He passed away less than 2 years later. Radio Free Europe issued its first broadcast on July 4th, 1950. And hey, who's a Bob Ross fan? He was an American painter, art instructor, and television host. Had a show on PBS called The Joy of Painting, episodes of which can still be found out there on the internet, including YouTube. Fans of his might be surprised, as I was, to learn that he'd been a master sergeant in the military, in positions that required him to be the guy who makes you scrub the latrine, the guy who makes you make your bed, the guy who screams at you for being late to work. Ross decided that if he ever got out of the Army, he would never yell or raise his voice again. His personal, gentle speaking style on The Joy of Painting is so iconic that his name is used as an example to describe people who speak in a quiet, calming voice. I've seen various people described as the Bob Ross of homesteading, or the Bob Ross of polymer clay, or the Bob Ross of resin, for example. As much as we love Bob Ross, we mention him today because it is on this day, July 4th, 1995, that he passed away due to complications from lymphoma. He was 52. And I think that's going to do it for us today. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. Feel free to give it a like. Did I already say that? There we go. Thanks for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with others. You can check out my other channel if you want to, 8 Susquehanna. There's a link to that in the show notes. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. This is also the birthday of my baby sister. My baby sister. When she was little, we'd go to the fireworks shows and we'd tell her this was for her. This was all for her. And it kind of is. She's quite a gal. Happy birthday, baby sister. Here's our volume. Okay, yeah. I thought West Point had been around longer than that. Did I just put that same thing in there twice? Okay. Never eat anything bigger than your head. Signed the it's a mouthful. I've got my tongue wrapped around my eye teeth and I couldn't see what I was saying. Archaeologist. Yeah, we'll probably leave that part out. I don't know how all that's going to go together or if it's even going to make it to the video. We'll just see. That's not going to go. Yeah, we're going to cut those out. That'll all be laying on the cutting room floor. So I'll just do that whole thing over. That might not make it into the video. We'll see. Changing it up.